happened?
Whoa, the DJ slipped.
That was really a slip. Sorry if I
Holy
blew out anybody's
shit.
eardrums. It really did slip upwards. I don't normally
That's what
have
she
that.
said.
It doesn't normally slip like that.
That's what he said. Or is it he for you?
Well, I mean, we don't assume until afterwards.
Oh,
Then we ask.
oh boy.
Yeah,
Oh
I
boy.
do. I'm like the military. Don't ask, don't tell. And then once you've discharged, then you can ask.
That's a 90s throwback right there. Don't
That's,
ask, don't tell.
Yeah.
Your mom probably is like, Bill Clinton, I love him.
He did like Billy Bill. I mean, who didn't? Man could blow a sax.
Yep. This is him at a cocktail party. Oh, yeah. Anyway. Yeah,
he was on Arsenio Hall show. I mean, come on. How can you not love that guy?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm pretty indifferent about most presidents. But this past weekend, Super Bowl. Everybody partakes.
Super Bowl.
Yeah, everybody
The
seems
Super
to
Bowl
in
went
Super Bowl.
down. It happened.
Yeah.
I keep on talking.
That's
over
Mike's analysis. That's his stiff analysis.
I watched the whole thing. I sat down.
Did you?
And watched the entire thing from before it started till it was completely done.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, well, good for you. You're probably forced to watch it.
I wasn't forced. Even though my mother was like, "You watched it? Why?"
Your mom didn't watch it?
She too did. Literally, she woke up, watched Rihanna, and then went back to sleep.
Oh my god! So that's one thing I don't watch. I watch the game.
Okay.
But you just every year it's the same thing.
What?
If you think the Super Bowl halftime show was awful, you don't know what you're talking about. It was great. It was awesome. Blah 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 blah. I'm like, people would ask me, I'm like, I didn't watch it. Why? And you know, I mean, they're like, you don't like Rihanna? No, I didn't say that. I don't watch the Super Bowl halftime show usually. For me, that's when I take a break. That's when the non-football fans get to have a portion of the show and take a break from football. They really don't want to watch.
Okay.
For me, I'm taking a break because I'm there for the game. That's just me. But enjoy your halftime show. But it's just so funny. Everybody has different taste in music. So they're like, I don't like it. I'm like, I said to the one dude, I was like, what did you want? The Beatles on there? Like AC/DC? Oh, they're like 95. Like, would you enjoy it more then? You know what I mean? I'm like, they probably have done it. You know, whatever.
There's so many different opinions and people that would have liked this or that. I thought she did an okay job.
My favorite was her Shakira performance.
My favorite was LaToya and JT.
Well, the funny thing is, it would be hard for it to be LaToya since it was Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake.
Sorry, Janet Jackson.
It's because of the nip slip.
They're all the same.
You know, there was a nip slip bet last night on TV for the performance. Yeah. So, she didn't get paid a lot. Rihanna didn't. They used to pay these guys more, but according to the local 586 of the American Federation of Museums, the flat union scale to play a room size of State Farm, the size of a State Farm Stadium in Arizona would be $450 for the leader, which in this case is Rihanna, and $400 a person for side musicians. So she got paid about $400. They used to pay a lot more. Now they don't pay. So what a point I was making to people, I was having a discussion about this, is your range of artists you get are going to be smaller because if you're a legendary artist, you know, Rihanna's legendary in some people's eyes in her own right. But like, let's say it's, thanks, Brad. You know when they didn't crap the bed? Super Bowl 52 when they dropped the ball bag on Tom Brady. But we won't talk about that. But anyway, Big Dick Nick gave you guys the shaft. But anyway, so, you know, I was like, well, if you're Pink Floyd or you're AC/DC, you know, do you really care about getting some clout via doing the halftime show? Probably fucking not. So your older legendary bands are going to be like, oh, you want to pay me nothing? You can go fuck yourself. Like, you know, so that's really what's going to happen. Like Metallica, I don't think maybe Metallica would do it.
I mean, we had Snoop, Eminem, and Dre. I mean, those are.
I wonder what's the I think that might have been the last year they paid people, right?
You think?
Let's have our producers look that up real quick. And by producers, I mean me on the computer.
Oh, but
here we go. What was the last time?
It is kind of a bucket list type of thing where it's like, you know, it is a little. It's a nice little notch on your belt to say that you played in front of a Super Bowl crowd, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I'm just looking. So, you know, it's just kind of funny. Maybe, but like if you played Wembley Stadium or huge sellout crowds, are you really that impressed by the Super Bowl unless you're a big football fan?
But most of these guys that perform at the Super Bowl are big football fans, aren't they?
I mean, not huge football fans. So I'm looking it up, man. It's kind of murky, but it looks like they did pay him a lot more at one time. You know, I see a figure of 10 million. So, all right, here we go. Why Super Bowl halftime performers aren't paid? Huddle up. You know, blah blah blah. Fuck that newspaper. So this year Rihanna's gonna play. So you know they set out to change it. So here we go. Here we go. Now I got what I'm looking for. Man, this thing wants you to sign up for shit and give you blood.
Wow.
So cost of a 30-second Super Bowl ad in 1967 was $42,500. Now it's $7 million, right, for a Super Bowl ad. Crazy. So the NFL set out to change this in the 90s. So they convinced New Kids on the Block to perform in 91, Gloria Estefan in 92, and fans rushed the field during Michael Jackson's show-stopping performance in 93. The new era completely changed the perception among fans, and more importantly, convinced the world's top artists that Super Bowl was a valuable marketing platform, right? So, you know, the Super Bowl halftime show was been going on for more than 50 years, but it hasn't always been as huge as it is. You know, the spectacle it is, right? So the first Super Bowl halftime show had marching bands and two men in jetpacks. It's literally a true story. A hot air balloon crashed into the stands during the halftime of Super Bowl IV. A Coca-Cola shipped out 26 millions of 3D glasses in 89 for a disastrous halftime show at Super Bowl 20 that features strange graphics and a magician named Elvis Presto. But while the Super Bowl was becoming more popular every year, the halftime show was quickly becoming a joke, which just sounds like it from that. So the new era completely changed, as they said. So this enabled them to convince it's a marketing show. So this, you know, Madonna, Beyonce, Bruce Springsteen to perform during the Super Bowl halftime show. But as I said before, the NFL doesn't actually pay any of these artists. So the financials behind the show. So it costs a lot to do it. So the NFL created a system where top-tier artists agree to perform for free at halftime of the Super Bowl in exchange for exposure. Here's how it works. The NFL signs a sponsorship deal with a company like Apple, which recently agreed to pay $50 million per year to be the sponsor of the halftime show. Then the NFL will keep about $35 million of that deal, roughly speaking, and use the remaining $15 million to cover production costs for the show. This includes about 2,000 to 3,000 part-time workers, and it covers everything from production crews, set design to dancers, security, logistics, and marketing. So they're, you know, cost $15 million, profit $35. Pretty smart. So they're making money off of it too. And some artists take it even further. Take The Weeknd, for example. He didn't think the NFL's $13 million production budget was enough, right? So they're talking about so he spent $7 million of his own money to create the show he visioned. So why does this thing fucking skip? I hate, you know, like,
oh my god,
read an article beforehand. Like some of these websites, like they just suck, and they don't know how to put paragraphs in order. So they're talking about. So some artists took it further, but they don't talk about which artist. But we'll continue on anyway. The reality is the performers are happy to do it for exposure. But think about it this way: bands will spend more than $7 million for 30-second commercial brands during this New Year's Super Bowl. But this year's halftime performer Rihanna will get a 15-minute commercial for free, and it comes with much more media attention and billions of impressions on social media.
Absolutely.
That's objectively a great deal, and the numbers back it up. So, I was against it before, but like I said, I think you're going to have to get younger performers from now on to kind of buy into that. Maybe some older guys, but some of the legends in rock and roll, I don't really see doing that kind of shit, personally. They're like, yeah, okay.
And real, about social media. Real fast, I just want to acknowledge, I'm not going to show up, I'm going to acknowledge a comment put in the chat by Brad. Brad, yes, that happened. I didn't think it was going to. It was a YouTube clip.
What is he talking about?
I guess if somebody Toxic doesn't know. I guess if somebody doesn't know, go back.
Toxic just showed a nipple.
Okay, all right. It's
what? Did I miss something?
You did.
I guess I'll have to rewind the show.
Yes, people have got to go back and watch the live stream to catch that one.
Oh Christ! This one's gonna get shit canned by Facebook.
I didn't think that it was going to go through because the video was from YouTube, but apparently YouTube is going YOLO on this. And
you ever find it weird that Instagram has a no nudity policy, but if you wear like sheer over your body, like it's okay, like nipples are okay.
If it's right, because you got to squint to actually see it, or yeah.
Yeah, okay. The squint, my ass.
I think that the best is what's her name? Miley Cyrus was on a talk show, and she said that it's very interesting how American society is really mostly angry and afraid of the nipple part of the boob, because you can show every part else but the nipple, and the nipple is what everybody has. The actual jug is what makes it different, but we're allowed to see the jug, but not the nipple. Very interesting.
The jug.
I mean, you have nipples.
Yeah. You want to milk me?
I mean, what? No. What? Why? Huh?
I have nipples, Greg.
Is that called
milk me?
Is that called milking the bear?
No, that's called milking cats. And remember from Meet the Fockers?
I don't want to milk the bear.
Yeah.
You invite me over to milk you. I am going to decline. Is that why you were over my house before the Super Bowl? Were you looking to get milked?
Yeah. Well, I realize now that if I go before Eagles Super Bowl, it's a guaranteed jinx. So won't be visiting your house pre Super Bowl next time Eagles there. Hopefully it's not 20 fucking years. But anyway, yeah, there is a lot of stuff all going on the Super Bowl. It's weird promotions, commercials. I didn't even really see a lot of the commercials weren't really that memorable to me. Like, I don't remember like laughing and hearing about it. I think like commercials were like bullshit pretty much. Did you see a commercial really that kind of caught you?
I mean, the only one was that Tubi one that made everybody lose their fucking shit.
The Tubi one was pretty good because where I was at, I was the youngest, and the two guys watching me, they're like, "What? Who's changing the game? What's going on with the game?" And I'm like, "What the fuck is going?" I'm like, and I know where the remote's at. Like, no one's touching the remote, so they think like some magic is happening where the channel is getting changed on its own. I'm like, no one's changing the channel, and then they started laughing.
It just shows you how many fucking people have a Fire Stick or a smart TV or don't have actual cable anymore, and they're like, "Oh fuck!"
Right. Or how many times it's actually happened to them?
Oh yeah, but yeah, Tubi was good. I mean, the other good one, which wasn't like a normal Super Bowl commercial in terms of the craziness, was the fact that Michael Keaton is returning as Batman. That was a big holy shit moment.
Oh, I don't remember seeing that. So are they doing a senior citizen Batman?
Yeah, senior citizen. They're going to go to the home, and it's going to be all the superheroes from that era in DC crapping their pants. They're going to crap their pants.
Did anybody want Michael Keaton as the original Batman back?
Yes, apparently. Dude, it blew up the internet because it's going to be in the Flash movie where he returns. And everybody is super, super hype.
Super hype or hyped?
Super hype.
Oh, super hyped, not hyped. Okay, they're just hype.
Super hyped.
Got you. There you go. That's better. You got it. You got to figure it out now.
Huh?
Yeah. Well, was that a trailer? I missed that one.
That was a trailer.
Okay. Yeah. See, commercials. I'll watch some of them, but like again, that's break time for me.
Break time to do what? Because I mean, I watched the game and I watched the commercials.
Get some food. You know, I watched the game. Like I watched the game.
I watched. I mean, what do you mean? How is it different for you to watch the game rather than somebody else who watched the game that actually watched the commercials?
When you watch the game, I imagine you're one of those people in the Rain Man movie that are just looking off into the sunset, like this, and you don't actually know what's going on, and you're just staring at the screen. When I watch the game, I know what's going on. Mike's like, "Yay! Did you just score a run? Yay for baseball! I mean football. Like you're that guy."
I knew what was going. Come on now, come on. You're talking Mike, fucking crazy talk.
Mike has been picking up some football lately. I will admit that, but yeah. But I'm just saying, it's kind of like you're like this. When are we gonna go to Kmart to get underwear?
Are there Kmarts even around still?
I think there's a couple going out of business. Jesus. So
I did see the stand, the pop up Eagles gear like shops that are like in like you see them a lot in like gas station parking lots and stuff. Today I drove by a few where they had up there, you know, last day sale. Come get your "It's a Philly Thing" shirt.
Yeah, Buy American. These are all from China.
Yeah,
they yeah, I see a lot of those. I mean, so some of those are cool. But you're definitely, if you're buying a jersey from there, it's definitely a knockoff. Just letting everybody know.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing wrong with a good knockoff. I've worn them myself.
Wait.
But
can I say this? I myself and Laura and the kids all had "It's a Philly Thing" shirts.
You know, when I think about that now, the word "loser" is going to come to my mind because they lost.
Where I got the shirts though is classic. I got the shirts.
You got them at a glory hole.
Probably would have been more respectable. I got them. We went to Friendly's, and in the lobby of a Friendly's was one of those grab machines. And
you won them.
I played the grab machine and won. It's a Philly Thing T-shirts. I won like.
How many shirts did you get in there?
8.
3. They gave you 8 shirts in the pack.
Yeah. Well, no. I picked up 8. I put like $10.
You won it 8 separate times. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. So and they all had a size for everybody.
They had, it was a large, medium, and small were the sizes.
Oh, so you didn't get it?
I didn't get one. I didn't get. I didn't get one.
Yeah, I would have been out of that. I would have been out of that one too. I'm like, oh, yeah, not fitting a large since like 1989. So no, that's not happening.
That wasn't. I didn't think that for a free T-shirt in a grab machine that they were gonna have my size, because once you get up to my size, that's when you start like adding on pricing. Like, oh yeah, okay, call in and order your shirt now. Extra $5 if you're this big. Yeah.
Yeah, I think did you bet on the Super Bowl?
I was supposed to. Mr. Gene from Birds Deep and Sports Empire Network would be very upset with me. I told him I was going to buy some blocks on his block. I don't even know what it's called, block pool. And I was going to, and I totally forgot. I did not bet on the get team. I know that the big bet that was going around that everybody was kind of was the bet that I guess a bet can go viral. So the
script is leak bet. Is that the one you're going to talk about?
No. The bet that went viral, not that one. What color not Kool-Aid. What color Gatorade was going to be poured on the team that won? The coach.
Yeah, most people were betting orange or green.
Right.
No one bet purple. Very few people bet purple, and it was purple.
Right. I saw you had to do some finagling to find out that it was purple because it didn't show it on TV.
I won't do a bet like that. That's a sucker bet.
Why is that a sucker bet?
Because it can easily be manipulated. They're not going to check it. It could be arbitrary. So to me, I'm not doing that bet. It's not a defined outcome. Now, is someone fixing the Gatorade bet? No, I don't think so. But it can be fixed, probably. I mean, let's just say you're the equipment guy and they say put some Gatorade out, and you're like, you know what? I got a tip for you. They're getting fruit punch. They should make like a fucking Ocean's 12 parody about that, or Ocean's 14 of like, you know, planting the Gatorade color and then betting the house on it.
But there's even if somebody did like decide that they were going to use a certain, it still is clueless to the Joe Schmo in Jersey or PA that made a bet. So it's still the thing. I do want to ask you about one thing though. What were your thoughts on, because this was a big deal and this made a huge impact, and I noticed it right away, and then the announcers were talking about it, and it's still on news stations is being discussed. Do you know what I'm talking about?
The grass,
the slippery grass. They said that they painted them the grass, and that's why it was slippery or something.
They said what happened was, and there is some sports controversy. The Chiefs didn't change their cleats; the Eagles did. Didn't seem to help the Eagles. They both had to play on the same field, so no one had an advantage over anybody else. But yeah, I could listen to Mike talk sports all day. That's hilarious.
That's what you're here for.
Yeah, listen, we love to please our dozen and dozens of listeners. But I will tell you that Ian Rappaport is a reporter for the NFL, and he did say that the performance at the halftime show heated the grass up.
Well, I saw footage of them scrambling around, but I also saw like it was the Eagles kicker, like almost jacked up his ankle because of how much he slid going to kick a football. Like that,
yeah. The NFL's got to do a better job of that. That shouldn't happen at the Super Bowl. I think the logistics weren't fully thought out. People had different reasons for it. I think it has something to do with the type of grass, but there was paint on there. There's been paint on fields before, but I heard it explained that, hey, I guess the stage setup helped heat up the grass and kind of prevented it from getting moisture or whatever is supposed to happen, I guess, organically with the gas and right. The grass. I mean, both teams had to play on it pretty much. If one's prepared better than the other for that element, well, that team is a better prepared team. So
that actually went through my head, which is like whether you're playing outside, inside, in the cold, in the rain, you have to adapt to whatever field and circumstances you're playing in, and the team that can adapt better and faster is the one that's going to win. So
yeah. Well, speaking of the game and promotions, so there was a lot of weird promotions. There was a Rob Gronkowski field goal. Like if you ever if he makes a field goal, you all get a part of $10 million. It ended up being like $5, which is stupid. I didn't take part in that. But there was a DiGiorno promotion, which I thought was a huge miss by them. And one of my favorite radio personalities, or say satellite personalities, was talking about it. So their promotion was, if a field goal hit the field goal post, they would give out free pizza.
Oh.
And it happened. But yes, now, from what I understand, they limited it to 1,500 people, and they're going to randomly select the entrance.
Oh, jeez.
Let me tell you something, DiGiorno. No one gives a fuck about you that much. Only people that eat DiGiorno are people that live in the middle of nowhere, don't have anybody that could deliver, don't have a good pizza shop in their neighborhood. I'll eat DiGiorno. It's on the higher grade of frozen pizzas, I would say, but no one cares that much. So their executives decided to decide that 1,500 pizzas were necessary. If they gave out free pizzas to everyone who entered, one free pizza, I don't think it's going to kill them, and they would remember that forever. That is a marketing miss by them. That is called having tunnel vision.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really? Like that, and because here's the thing about that, right? you can take out, and this is what one of my favorite broadcasters talking about. You could take out an assurance policy for contests like that if they actually hit, because the odds of it hitting the field goal post are low, but you can actually insure that, where they'll end up having to pay 20% of it, right? So, I mean, to me, man, that's a missed opportunity. Don't you agree, Mike?
Yeah.
What are you thinking?
Way missed opportunity. That's huge.
And you limit it to 1,500 free pizzas. Like, that's crazy.
It's a bait and switch. It's a bait and switch. It's ridiculous.
So this is what it is. I was trying to find something updated on it, and because I heard people talking about it. So this is what it was, so you guys can know, and you'll appreciate this. But there was plenty of ones, like Buffalo Wild Wings had some promotions. Domino's, blah blah blah. No one really gives a fuck. But DiGiorno, fans can visit the Pizza Brand's website for a chance to win a free pizza by entering the giveaway. Contestants could potentially win a free DiGiorno pizza if the football hits the goalpost. Now, they're not bait and switching them, but they said potentially. But think about that. If you're going to only do 1,500 pizzas, aren't you going to create more disappointed people than people that are happy about it?
Absolutely.
Know. Maybe more people. Maybe
pizzas cost like 10 cents, so knock it off.
Yeah, especially their pizzas definitely cost 10 cents, maybe less. I mean, so that's true too. I mean, come on, like that. If I'm on that board and the CEO made the decision, I'm questioning his. I would like to know his thought process behind that. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
McDonald's had something going on. They were trying to get a lot of people were trying to get people to use their app. 7-Eleven, if customers get ready for this big year's game with a touchdown of a deal, customers can slice into a free large pizza when they order through the 7 Now delivery app. Now that's a deal, baby. Get me a free pizza, right?
A touchdown of a deal.
Touchdown of a deal. Applebee's has offered free 20-piece wings to anyone spending $440 or more using promo code BigGame23. So, there's a whole bunch of promos going on like that. But the DiGiorno one, man, like, come on, like, it actually hits it. You could have made it a big deal. Now, like, that's so stupid. I saw that. I'm like, you guys are idiots. Idiots. So
stupid.
Crazy. Yeah, I mean, I think the Super Bowl was fun. I was disappointed as an Eagles fan, obviously, for many reasons. We'll get more into that in Birds Deep on Thursday.
Birds Deep, where the bird goes deep on you.
Not exactly, but okay.
You go deep on the bird?
Gene will have a strong opinion on it. I will. It will be pretty good. But
wait, does the bird go deep on you, or do you go deep on the bird?
No, we go deep on the bird's subject.
Oh, I didn't know what you were doing with the bird. I was confused.
No, we're not touching anybody's bird.
So I can see how that confusion could happen, though.
Yes, it could.
Because I'm sure
you went right away with it.
I'm sure if you went to the hub and wrote Birds Deep.
Well, speaking of confusion, did you get something for your significant other for Valentine's Day?
I did.
Wow, good for you, Mike. I'm surprised. I thought you'd be the type of guy to buy her a vacuum cleaner.
It is always fun and enjoyable to go into a store on Valentine's Day and just see the panic on every guy's face and the confusion as they look at everything and try to decide what is the right thing to get.
And I'm single right now, so Valentine's Day, I'm always like, I don't think about it. I go into the store. I was driving my Tesla today. That's another story we'll get into. Yeah, I was driving a Tesla. And my fans out there, all two of my fans, they know that I'm not an Elon Musk fan. But there's a story behind that. But I go into the supermarket to pick up a few things after work. And I heard this guy say, oh, we all had the same idea, right? And there was just this corner of the supermarket with empty buckets. It was in those buckets, right? Roses.
Yep.
Roses. So that inspired me to bring up, this is from tinybeans.com, bad Valentine's Day gifts. So I picked out a couple that caught my eye. There's like 29. We're not going to go through all 29. One was cheap flowers. A plant with a discounted tag attached. Take the tag off, fellas. You know the ones that live right next door to the pretty flowers at the grocery store? Yeah, that happened. He didn't last long. So this is a girl. This is from people commenting via Reddit of shitty gifts they got. An ex gave me an expired coupon to a restaurant that has shut down, the only location in our area.
Nice.
A coupon. He didn't get a blowjob that night. A talking bear. I thought this. I didn't think this would be horrible. A Build-A-Bear from a guy that I hadn't been dating very long at all and wasn't super into. He recorded himself saying "I love you," so when I squeezed the bear, I heard his voice. Ooh, that sounds kind of creepy.
Oh,
yeah, that sounds kind of creepy, doesn't it? Sounds like they had sex on the first date. All right, next one. So,
wait, I got a good picture. I got a good picture right here. This is basically every Target, CVS, and any other shop today.
Is that Mike in the background?
It's a whole bunch of men trying to pick the right one.
Yeah, that's yeah, man. That you're gonna get caught with your pants down. So, roses for somebody else. A dozen roses. Now remember, this is a question on Reddit that people are responding to. A dozen roses with a heartfelt love note signed to my one true love, Martine. My name's not Martine. Reddit user read. A garbage can. No, seriously. Someone bought me a garbage can. The ever so romantic metal trash cans with the step-on open feature. In his defense, he had the flu when we went out shopping. I'm sure he felt like that was a good idea, and his fever addled the brain. A breakup email, that's pretty horrible. How about, I got one, a toilet seat. My dad gave my stepmom a toilet seat once for Valentine's Day. He genuinely thought he had the best gift ever. Genuinely thought. This happened over 5 years ago, and we still laugh about it. But that's not all. It was the most generic toilet seat ever. Not even one of the ones that go down slowly. So it was like an extra off his buddy's pickup truck that was a plumber. That's probably what it was. Jumper cables.
Brad giving us his comment: Valentine's Day is for suckers. Screw Hallmark.
Yeah.
I mean, I do agree that holidays like today, quote holidays, are manufactured holidays and they're paydays for a lot of companies. But at the same token, they have become a tradition, and it is nice to show something.
Doesn't Brad? Are you married? Do you have a girlfriend? I thought Brad's married, right?
By the way, I have right next to me, and this is a little bonus for those of you that watch us.
Nipple?
On wow, I've already given that bonus earlier. It's a little bonus for those of you that watch.
I'm afraid to watch the show back.
But I came down this morning to this cute little peanut butter and jelly stuff thing. Is very cute. Along with a nice card.
Is it edible?
It is not.
Is it edible?
It is not. I mean, anything's edible if you really try. I mean, you give the oomph. But what was the worst Valentine's Day gift you think you've ever given?
I haven't given a lot. I have been single during a lot of Valentine's days.
Same here, but I'm trying to remember, and I think the worst was probably a single rose that I bought at 7-Eleven.
Was it what? All right, let me ask you a question. When you chose to take this as your path, did you at least go through the 7-Eleven? Was it the only rose, or did you make sure you got the best one out of them?
Oh, I chose the best out of the 7-Eleven dozen that were there to buy a single rose.
How did I go? How did I go?
Just how did what go? Like giving it to her?
Yeah. Did she notice it was from 7-Eleven?
I don't think so. There was no like 7-Eleven markings.
Was she touched?
By the way, Brad says that he's married and tipping is a tradition too, Mike. No, if tipping was a tradition that happened once a year, I'd be all in. Tipping is not a tradition. It is a social construct that is bullshit. It is not a tradition. You piece of shit.
That is
what?
that is the park the subject one. We're gonna play the rooster every time.
What is the best gift you've ever gotten for Valentine's Day?
And I don't. I mean, I've never really gotten anything crazy. Like, if I really say it, I'm gonna sound like, oh yeah. I mean, I don't know, blowjob.
You gave a blowjob for
No, I
Valentine's
got
Day?
one.
Oh,
You said whatever I ever
it was
got.
what you gave.
I feel like guys don't get shit for Valentine's Day. It's guys giving stuff for the most part. Okay. What did you give? You gave a rose?
I mean, today, a very nice bouquet. Bouquet? How do you say it?
I always feel like when it comes to gift giving on Valentine's Day, it's a weighted scale, and the guy's scale is heavier than the girl's scale. Like, it's like I think it's like 80-20 if you really measure it out. Like, get her a necklace. My buddy manager Joyce, get her earrings, get her a bracelet.
There you go.
Okay.
The card says on the front of it, Laura, aka Baby Mama.
I can only imagine what kind of poetry was inside of that thing.
But I actually, so here's the story behind this, and I might be ruining it if Laura's listening. But I went into the supermarket to get them because and in the front is where they have all of the as soon as you walk in, all the Valentine's stuff for the jackals that come in, the men that just want to come in, get it, and get out. And they're
First off, CVS is the place to go for that.
Is it?
But see, I never got caught with that because when I'm involved with a girl to that level where something like that matters, I'll make a dinner reservation. Like, there'll be a nice night out. You know what I mean?
Well, we're going to do that on Friday. But like for this, like a supermarket, a lot of them, like ShopRite, have an actual florist area section in the back of the store. That's why I went there. Because I don't know where an actual florist is. But I went there and
have you ever heard of the Google?
Everybody's in the front, and the guys are standing there toiling over what they're going to get. I went to the back to where the florist area is, the floral area, and that's where they have the good stuff. It really is. Like, in the back, they got the good stuff.
Yeah,
where they had some bouquets that were like over $100 and just crazy insane. But I think that this is the first time that I took the time and the effort to really get what I thought was the best one and the one that I thought my lady would appreciate the most. So to me, this was my best Valentine's Day gifts because I took a lot of time and effort. I didn't just go in and.
So what you're saying, the bar was low for you. The bar was low. It was a low bar.
You son of a bitch. You son of a bitch.
So here's some other ones that were strange that people said. My husband, then boyfriend, so she married this guy, once gave me a picture frame filled with his hair. He thought it would be romantic, but I didn't agree. Wow, I have so many questions for that. What kind of hair was it? Was it pubic hair? Was it chest hair? Was it hair off the top of your head?
That's somebody who like watches like TMZ or something and sees like, what the hell is his name? Who used to have vials of blood in their little container. Not Robert Downey Jr. The guy who played the pirate, whatever his name is.
Yeah, Laura will appreciate this. Your girl will appreciate this. A tongue scraper as a Valentine's Day gift. There are endless things to do together that don't involve removing tongue fur. Ew. So dental hygiene products. Not
tongue fur.
Ugh. That is disgusting. So, there's some where I'm just like, you could tell the response means she's a difficult person. So
our Brad in the chat room is married and he doesn't like Valentine's Day. So did he get his wife anything?
Did you get her a gift on her system, Brad? Don't fucking lie.
Yeah, don't
you fucking lie.
Don't play it up for the show.
Yeah.
Don't puff out your chest. Don't be a cock.
Did you get anything? Did you? Yeah, he probably did. I could totally see it. He's talking that shit and he got her something. So Yeah, weird gifts, man. I don't know, man. I see some people's responses on here because these are all women that are responding to gifts they got from men. So this one, I kind of thought she might be a little not understanding. My boyfriend at the time took me to dinner and then surprised me with a horse-drawn carriage ride. Total fail because it was cold and I'm Southern. I don't do sub 50-degree weather. I have to imagine, ma'am, that you lived in that area. And even though you don't do that weather, you were living in that wet area. So weather wouldn't be a something that, I don't know, would be a consideration if it's something that's quick. Maybe you should use a thing called a coat. And two, I hate the horse-drawn carriage industry. We didn't make it past March. Okay. I guess effort doesn't count. You must be perfect. It's a minefield out there, fellas. It's a fucking minefield.
It is. It is.
You know, a heart made out of meat that you can eat. You're all.
I mean, there's some ladies out there that would enjoy that, and men.
You're all forgetting a gift that's from the heart, but what about meat? Yep, that's right. Meat. Apparently, you can buy a sweetheart a raw steak shaped like a heart. I don't think that's bad.
That's not bad at all.
If she likes steak. This one, I knew would be bad. I could see you doing something like this. Any type of cleaning tool, supply, or appliance, a weed whacker, a vacuum, a cooking, piece of machinery. I don't know, like a mixer. Would you buy? See, that I know is always bad news.
Something that involves your significant other working, doing something.
Yeah. So this one is my dad got my mom a hair trimmer set and photocopied her card. She got him one year. They celebrated their 25th anniversary. So he photocopied an old card and got her a hair trimmer set. Interesting.
Laura just wrote, I gave Mike a heart box with beef jerkies 1 year. She did, and they were friggin' delicious.
Nice. That's a good one.
By the way, Laura, just tuning in. We're playing a game right now. We're waiting to see when Godfrey recognizes.
Oh my god, what the fuck is this? What is this?
What is what?
On the screen, like what is that?
You're talking about Valentine's Day. I thought it would be nice to have a Valentine's Day picture up while we're discussing Valentine's Day.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it's interesting that was ready for you right in a file you had. And I guess you must have multiple pictures like that to choose from.
I was trying to help out the show.
You got to go with what you know, right, Mike?
Go with what you know.
Yeah. But crazy stuff going on. So it was fun. It sucked that the Eagles lost if you're an Eagles fan. Good Super Bowl, good time. There are some shitty things about it, which I'll get on another show. But I do think sports betting is kind of ruining fandom because people are super angry over outcomes in general. I see it from all fan bases. Like you'll see the TVs getting smashed by people on TikTok when a game doesn't go their way. And I think no game's perfect, but you'll see a lot of fans will just start to say something's scripted or it's fake because really, really when you get down to it, if they're honest, a lot of times it's because the bet they made didn't go their way. Can't afford it, don't bet it. That simple. I bet. I don't get that mad. Some people do. And I think it ruins games to a certain extent, although I'm a pro betting guy. I just think it's kind of crazy. But yeah, that's it for the Super Bowl. It was pretty cool. So a lot of news coming from TikTok lately. Have you heard about this train derailment in Palestine, Ohio, or East Palestine, Ohio?
No.
So it happened a couple of days ago, and the reason why this is interesting is because it has a hydrochlorine, right? So I'm going to read it down. So, here's the thing about the railroad. I'm going to say this right now. I think it's one of the most unsafe industries right now in America that puts public at risk unknowingly, and it's a direct result of corporate greed. And it's interesting how they handle things And this is part of the reason why I don't want to see TikTok go away. Because you have to ask yourself, when it comes to this, there's been very, these companies put out a statement of what happened, right? When it happens at first. When I see companies talking about the railroad company. So where it is that they didn't update a braking system that they should have been updating. There's no law requiring them to do that. Something that should piss everybody off. This is near the Ohio-Pennsylvania border. National news. It's getting national news, though, thanks to TikTokers. Thanks to people being good TikTokers, like where they're making good reports. And it's funny, I've seen press come after them in Twitter, trying to be elitist scumbags. But, the press should ask themselves, why are people getting news off TikTok? Maybe because you guys suck.
Yep.
Maybe if you didn't suck and you actually did your job better and had some ethics to your reporting and wasn't money driven, or you didn't sell out just to do what you're told, because a lot of you will go, that's not true. Who's the media? Are we the media? I've seen it before. We're not stupid. I'm not a big conspiracy theorist, but I do recognize that sometimes news is influenced by companies that might buy ad time, own parts of a company, and they'll influence how something is either spun or even talked about. And it was crazy because I learned about this because of TikTok, not the news. And it was all over TikTok. I don't know I'm surprised you didn't see it, Mike. Maybe my algorithm is just, embedded in my brain now. And they know what I was thinking. But there is a lot of independent journalists that were on top of this. So Norfolk Southern pushed back on an Obama-era safety rule as railroads worked to cut costs. Now, they were cutting costs by cutting employees. Now, from what I learned, because I'm a novice when it comes to railroad engineering, is that the bigger the car gets, meaning if I'm saying this term right, the longer the rail line gets, the more workers you probably need for safety, right? A lot of chemicals are carried in these trains, right? So, I brought up an old one, and it's funny. There's one, if you ever want to look it up, in 2013, a train derailment and subsequent fire in, I'm going to say this, Lac Magnet. It's French is so weird, but it's Lac Magnet. It's in Quebec. So just do train fire Quebec 2013. I can't even come close to the name. It killed 47 people. And this wasn't a passenger train. And all but three downtown buildings to be demolished for safety reasons. The following year, a derailment happened in North Dakota, spilled nearly 500 gallons of crude oil, and caused $13.5 million in damage, prompting the Obama administration to push a new safety rule to govern the transport of hazardous materials. Now, don't get it twisted, because I know how people are to listen to shit. Oh, he's liberal. I don't care. Like, safety is safety. Like, that should be bipartisan. I'm not saying Obama's great or not great for it, but I'm just saying that. Stay with me. Don't be a big puss about it. The effort to create a new safety rule is fought by industry lobbyists. Part of the things that's wrong with our country is lobbyists, right? They're paid to lobby for their industry. However, there should be stricter lobby laws in what they can and can't donate. Let me give you a for instance. When I used to work for AT&T, it was considered, if Motorola gave me tickets, that wasn't allowed because they were trying to influence me to push their phone. Right? That's the real thing. Did you know that, Mike? And not Motorola, but in general. But lobbyists can influence laws. That's legal. Let's just put that in perspective there, okay? So it was fought by lobbyists, including Norfolk Southern, the Atlanta-based company whose train derailed in eastern Ohio spilled chemicals earlier this month, leaving residents of East Palestine worried about the air, soil, and water quality. When the safety rule was issued in 2015, however, it was narrowly crafted and required only electrically controlled brakes, which applies braking simultaneously across a train rather than rail car by rail car. Now, I'm not an engineer, and neither are you, Mike, but do you understand why that's probably bad, that the braking system is one where it applies rail car to rail car?
Absolutely.
It would cause a derailment, right? Mm-hmm. Listen, if anybody's out there listening to this and they're an expert on it, tell me that I'm wrong. But this is what I'm going to guess here. It applies simultaneously across the train rather than rail car by rail car over a span of seconds to be installed by 2023. It applied only to certain high hazard flammable trains carrying at least 20 loaded cars filled with liquids like crude oil. The Trump administration, this is why I said this, because I know some of you Trumpers out there are going to get butthurt, repealed the rule 3 years later, stating that its cost exceeded the benefits. You think lobbyists had anything to do with it?
Oh, not at all,
Mike.
No.
Now, don't get it twisted. That lobbyists affecting laws is not a Republican-only thing. It's a Democrat thing too. This happens on all sides of the political fence. Let's not get it twisted here. Everybody's got their hands in these pots, okay? So I want you guys to keep that in mind. When I try to bring stuff up like this, I want you to understand that we have more things in common than we don't when it comes to things like this. The Trump administration repealed that rule. Now, take your blinders off. Don't put Trump, don't put Obama. Just say the government repealed that rule. You would say why, right? Efforts to reduce the costs, including lobbyists against costly regulation, increasing train lengths, reduced inspection times, and major cuts to the railroad. So inspection times, and I've been following trains for a while. Trains are a problem in the U.S. They haven't updated their system. For us as a country, as big as we are, not to have a national rail system is a complete fucking joke. I've traveled around the world. Smaller countries have it. It's a joke that we don't. But I digress. So, the Trump administration said its cost exceeded the benefits. So efforts to reduce costs, including lobbying against, like I said, the costly regulation, increasing train lengths, reduced inspection times, and major cuts to the railroad workforce have made trains less safe. Labor representatives and industry experts told USA Today, making accidents like the one in Ohio more common occurrence. Still, in general, major derailments leading to public evacuations, chemical spills, or loss of life are relatively rare compared to the vast amounts of hazmat cargo railroad transit. So, I don't care about that. It doesn't matter. So, this is where I kind of like don't care what they're saying, because they could say that the percentage is low, right? But often with these chemical type of situations, you don't see the effects for years to come. And by that time, people are dead. So don't tell me about percentages, because are you actually tracking that through all the years that people had to live around there? I think probably fucking not. So, and the transportation secretary, who's a Democrat, Pete Buttigieg, sucks. He should do better. He should be cracking the whip on this. But guarantee lobbyists are in his pocket. I don't want to hear you talking about the infrastructure bill, Pete. I want to hear you talking about this. So I'm going to Axios for this because they're a little bit better. But what we know about the Ohio train derailment: hundreds of people were evacuated after a freight train carrying hazardous materials derailed on February 3rd, and a company was forced to vent and burn carcinogenic, so the cancer-causing chemicals from crashed train cars. The Norfolk Southern train was pulling at least 5 tanker cars containing vinyl chloride, a colorless but hazardous gas used to produce PVC, plastic, and vinyl products. Sounds pretty toxic, right, Mike? Next,
yes,
Norfolk Southern officials said some of the cars carrying the vinyl chloride were not breached during the crash, but were at risk of exploding. So crews released and burned the contents, creating a massive smoke plume. Ohio Governor Mike DeWine said on Tuesday he authorized the operation of the release and burning of the vinyl chloride at the crash site, saying officials faced 2 bad options between potentially letting a car containing the material explode or doing the release. A mechanical issue with an axle on one of the 150 cars, 150, is believed to be the cause of the derailment of the last at least 50 of the cars, though the National Transportation Safety Board has not yet made an official determination of the cause. So lobbyists will get in there. They'll defund organizations that are supposed to keep these things in check and make them weak so they don't work anymore. And that's another thing they do. So, a lot of chemicals. People are talking about fish dying, pets dying. There was a lady who had to put her cat down because, from exposure from it. And, how is it going to impact people long term? The lawyers are lining up, and they should be, because this is the only way you can fight back. Environmental impact. The EPA is investigating. And it just, to me, man, the reason why I just think it was interesting that you didn't hear a lot about this major catastrophe. I mean, I don't know if you looked at it yet or not, Mike, but pretty big catastrophe. And I'll tell you this. This is why TikTok can't go away. And this is why they really wanted to go away. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist guy, but I still haven't seen a case for the national security firm and scraping of information that's any different from any of the other platforms. I think you guys can't control it, and that's what bothers you. And when I say you guys, or wow. I'm talking about that's media. Racist. I guess so. No, that would be a you people thing. But I think that's why they want to get rid of TikTok, because they can't quiet things. Some people say it's a distraction to the UFOs. That's a whole nother discussion. It's not a distraction. These are real people affected by it. This is a very red area, by the way, where this is happening. Red as in terms of politics. But just just an example. I mean, it was not getting a lot of attention, and the TikTokers, a lot of these independent guys on there, put some really good heat on it. It wasn't conspiracy theorists. They were going by EPA manifests. They were going by public reports. There was a reporter I saw that got arrested for doing his job at this place. Total bullshit fascism. Didn't respect the guy's rights. And it was all on camera. So
I got to ask you something. As I see we are getting to the end of the show. So we're talking about train derailments while carrying chemical waste, and the effect
not waste, but
chemicals, toxic, whatever, liquids that are harmful. We're talking about the fact that certain individuals have said that the negative impact of this is minor. Correct?
Well, I don't. Some have, but right. People that have come out that are chemical
politicians or companies have stated that they think that it's.
Yeah, they'll release a statement early on trying to make it sound better than it is, and they were taking a victory lap about their chemical burn, but there's a lot of people that are chemical engineers out there that disagree with their assessment.
So
they're basing it.
I'm sorry. My whole thing is, if you look at, now again, I'm getting this information on the fly. Somebody might call me out that this is BS information. Getting this on the fly. But according to this map that I just pulled up, this is the rail network of the United States. When you look at this, what's that?
Yeah, I'm looking at it. Mm-hmm.
I'm going with the United States. I know you talked about Canada. I know you talked about other places, but the United States. The rail network here, I mean, this, is very minimal rail network. Like in terms of like going against like roadways for cars.
Right. Well, because it's mainly for cargo.
Balance that against freight, how many trains have this kind of freight. Balance that against how many times a derailment happens a year. Put that against the impacted area of that derailment. The cost, it might be minimal in terms of the overall impact, and because businesses looked at things as a cost impact. Like if you go to a dollar store, they're going to sell you shit because nobody's bringing back dollar store junk to get a refund. Whereas if you buy a TV,
what you're saying is they should have stronger standards.
No, what I'm saying is, per the company, it might be a drop in the bucket for the cleanup and everything else, that it isn't a major issue for them.
Oh, you could be right. And
the problem with TikTok, this is a problem, and it's like a blessing and a curse, which is that a 2, 3, 4 minute video can go viral and bring to light something like this as something that you wouldn't have noticed years ago before TikTok was a thing and puts it on the main stage, but then is it blowing it out of proportion more so than it is?
No, I don't think it is in this, because in this particular situation, it was being underreported, and people were freaking out about it, and people weren't telling them about it. Their profits were $3.2 billion last quarter.
Right.
So the model for a lot of these train companies are to overwork workers, underpay them. Remember, they were striking recently. And
that's the model of almost any business. That's why a lot of people. That's why a lot of people go outside of the United States.
Yeah, they're extreme with it. They're very extreme with
it. I'm seeing why somebody would be upset like yourself. I'm seeing that. I'm just not seeing anything that far out of the norm here that it's like, holy crap, these are dastardly people more than anything I've ever seen. Because car companies, in terms of, and you know this one, car companies in terms of recall, with recalls,
those will get taken off the road, Mike, with a recall. If it's called an
right, but before they issue a recall, they do the math in the fact of how much is this going to cost us if we just let this defect continue versus a recall. And if the cost of the defect continuing out there on the road,
sometimes the DOT, I think, makes them issue a recall too.
It will sometimes, but there are times when the company gets to make their own call, and they do the math.
So
and then of course they want to sweep that under the rug also.
So to me, what I would do is I would institute heavy fines for something like this, so it wouldn't be profitable.
If they get found out.
It would not. Well, if they have an accident, there's going to have to be. I would have high safety standards in there that they have to meet, and it would make it illegal for them to transport. The problem is the administration right now doesn't want to mess up the supply chain because they don't want to look bad if the economy takes a hit.
Absolutely not.
Now, but the thing is we have to start answering moral questions before we start saying, well, if it's making a profit, it's okay. That's not true.
All right.
That's not what capitalism should be about. And you know what? That's why I hope they get the ball suit off of them, because the way they described it when it first happened, they were definitely trying to talk it down. And this is what, conspiracy theories get spread. But the thing about it is you can tell a lot of times, for me, when you look at the quality of the reporting or how they're reporting it or their tone or their moniker, whether it's serious or not, a lot of times when it's conspiracy without facts attached to it, you can tell because of how they're going to approach it, because they're trying to build the case of what, they're trying to build a case of maybes and turn it into something that's factual. Whereas in this situation, these people weren't putting a spin on it. And because I'm very astute to pick that up, they were putting on it the information that was publicly available to everyone that people don't usually notice. Like the EPA manifest, like the companies weren't out there reading this. So it's got to be, that's why lobbyists do it. And you might be right about that. They're calculating it as a business decision. And that's the thing, man. I think people always talk about people taking over governments. I think people are going to start taking over corporations. Like,
yes.
They're going to piss the town off, and they're just going to go in there, and they're going to take it over, and you're going to have some sticky situations, because the thing is, people like to hide behind these decisions, by hiding behind the wall of a corporation, thinking it's fucking okay to do what they do. But I got to tell you, if I lived in a town and I had a kid or a relative and they got fucked up because you were trying to be greedy, I'm coming for your ass. I'm coming for you. There's no doubt about it, in one way or another. And you know what? Keep it up, because people are going to fucking lose their shit. Because, the thing about, I've been like, remember, we had a derailment in Philadelphia. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
The big train accident?
Yeah.
And that was because the rail system hasn't been updated. They said some of these braking systems date back to 1860, Civil War times. I'm not joking. That's an actual fact. Seeing train or engineers talk about it, like, you have to be nationally certified to run these trains. This is not an easy thing to run these trains. And there's a lot of safety that goes into it. And the way they're cutting corners to be more profitable for their hedge funds, whatever is involved in it, is they're cutting staff. So you need a certain amount of staff to do the job, right? And they're pushing a standard that is unsafe, and the workers tell them, and they don't care. Like, I've seen special after special on this, like 60 Minutes. I've seen people talk about it. And in the U.S., it's so unique because the lobbying is so corrupt that's what happens. And you know how bad the lobbying is. And we'll get out of here soon because we're about up on time. Like Bernie Sanders is the head of a committee that has to do with medical insurance and things of that nature. They're literally shaking in their boots. They're bemoaning about having to deal with Bernie Sanders. You know why? Because he won't take their fucking money. Like, you could see it. You can search it online. Like, oh, it's going to be hard to work with Bernie because he's not going to take your shit, right? We need more people like that, right? Like, these people in the positions as politicians are supposed to be here to serve us. But if you notice, they serve the lobbyists and the money better. And when things need to get done for an industry that donates heavy to them, they make it quick. I mean, look at TikTok. The Republicans are also all of a sudden anti-TikTok, and they're making it the Chinese boogeyman. Like, what are they stealing from me? All right, so it's not going to be on your government phone. So fucking what? You're supposed to have a special phone anyway if you're high up in the government. BlackBerry makes it, right? Mike, you probably know something about that with the job you do. Like, you can't have just any fucking phone if you're the president.
Right.
That was a big issue with Trump. He wanted to have his certain phone. You can't just have any phone for security reasons.
It was a big issue with Obama when he got in there. He was glued. He was very into his BlackBerry, and he wanted to have it in there. And they told him, "We've got to build you a special BlackBerry. Top secret BlackBerry." And I was lucky enough to build it for him.
Well, quick industry knowledge inside. BlackBerry is still one of the best as far as enterprise security goes on mobile devices.
Probably,
even though it's not a great phone, it's still one of the best. They still do offer that software as a solution. That's why they're still in business. But I mean, listen, I just think, man, this is another example of, like, if journalists aren't going to do their job, or there's journalists out there doing their job, and the media is suppressing their activity, then there needs to be another avenue. And if you're mad that they're listening to these people, and this sometimes lends credence to them listening to conspiracy theorists, then stop being fucking dishonest. There's people that were journalists on big time networks that I watch on Facebook that left for these reasons. They have 1 million subscribers, and people are paying them monthly to watch them, right? Called Breaking Points. That's one that I use them on here a lot. Because they're not beholden to investors. And they talk about, like, how they get pressured. Like, they did a political show. Like, he used to be a reporter in Washington, and he would get calls from people like, why did you have to say it this way? And they would debate with them and all that shit. So, I mean, listen, man, I'm not trying to be conspiracy theories here, but dude, like, if I lived in that town, I'd be pissed. It's a poor town. They don't make a lot of money. And your vinyl chloride is going to be there, just up in the air, and you're going to say you just burned it off and it's all safe now? Nah, man. Like, the thing about that is that's scary is you're not going to know right away what it does to you. But you talked about it being controlled in a certain area. Like, there's two things that move all the time that it can get into: air and water, right? Soil, too, is another one. Soil moves. And that's a problem. You know what I mean? So I don't know, just another example. But that's it tonight, folks. We made Mike run over time for a couple minutes, but whatever. we like to just spend this time. We had some other stuff, but we'll table it for next week. Right before I go, I'll tell you guys my story about it next week. But next week we're definitely going to dive in. What age should you be retested at when you're driving? What is too old to drive? When you drive in your 90s, 80s, 70s, 60s, should there be an eyesight test? So we'll dive into that next week. Well, with that being said, folks, we're going to wrap things up. Feel the fucking burn. That's right. Feel the burn. We're going to wrap things up. Mike's got to go to bed. He's got to get on his onesies. All right. with the trapdoor and finish celebrating Valentine's Day. I am gonna walk my dog, enjoy life, be grateful. There is we do talk about a lot of bad stuff, but it is perspective. There's a lot of people, like, you see what's going on in Syria and Turkey. There are certain people, like, the Eagles lost. I was depressed about it, but at the end of the day, there's people that are literally under rubble right now from an earthquake, hoping someone finds them. So it's all about perspective. I know that's dark, but I mean, it's true though, right, Mike? I mean,
it's true.
I mean, I'm from the Gary Vee school in a sense where, like, hey man, you're lucky to be a human, so to speak. And there's people fighting for their lives out there, so I feel bad for those people, man. Almost, I don't remember what the death toll was last time, but it's got to be above 13,000. So that's a lot of people. But with that being said, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening in. We like to get silly and serious at the same time. So thanks for taking an hour of your time and spitting in time space with me. We appreciate that. Time likes the moisture. And with that being said, this is D. Godfrey, not saying goodbye, just saying take it deep.